GB News is once again making headlines, but this time the reason isn't just another routine debate. It's a fiery on-air clash, one that has sparked political heat across the UK. In this intense exchange, Charlie Mullins, the outspoken founder of Pimlico Plumbers, launched a bold attack on Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner's working-class image. Mullins claimed in no uncertain terms that Angela Rayner is fabricating her humble background, and that her true identity is something entirely different. He accused the Labour Party of no longer being a movement of the people, but rather a staged performance where actors are playing fake roles. If you haven't lived that life yourself, then don't pretend to lead it. Charlie Mullins. When Labour supporters pointed out that most of their MPs were not privately or elitely educated, Mullins flatly rejected that argument too. He stated that many Labour leaders have never truly lived in poverty, never really fought for anything, or built something from scratch, calling Labour a political theatre. Mullins alleged that they are selling a polished story, one that hides the real truth.
GB News has once again captured public attention as Charlie Mullins launched a scathing attack on Angela Rayner's working-class image, claiming that the Labour Party is in fact a gathering of imposters. In a dramatic on-air confrontation, the outspoken boss of Pimlico Plumbers didn't hold back, accusing Deputy Prime Minister Rayner of faking her working-class roots and insisting that Labour's leadership is completely out of touch with the lives of ordinary British people. With a firm stance, Mullins labelled Rayner a fraud and argued that MPs should be individuals who have genuinely faced hardship and climbed up from the very bottom. When some Labour supporters pointed out that most of their MPs didn't attend private schools, Mullins doubled down. He declared that these individuals have no real understanding of sacrifice or struggle. They've never had to fight to change their lives, he said. In a matter of seconds, Mullins dismantled the carefully crafted image Labour has tried to project, exposing what he called a political performance built on embellished narratives. Watch the clip for yourself. But before that, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our latest updates. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and leave a comment to share your thoughts with us.
Good to see you, Charlie. Thanks so much for joining us. Right, okay, you've seen what Danny Dyer's had to say about the state of our politicians, that they're all posh. We need more working class people in control of the country. What do you make of it?
Undoubtedly, it's right there. As politicians that come from sort of very upper class, they've not had the life experience, they've not had the lows, they've not been poor basically, and have not worked their way to the top. I mean, I've been working class all my life, come from nothing and worked my way to the top. I'm still working class, and I think the value of it is the life experience you get from it. Obviously, I think these days it's not as important, like the class distinction thing, perhaps as 30 years ago, but undoubtedly we need more working class, more practical people in politics, more people with common sense and people that can make decisions. And more so that if somebody comes from a very working class background and is working class, they understand the lower side of things in life, which unfortunately politicians don't have a clue about.
Charlie, it is actually a fact that we have the most working class government that we've had for a long, long time, if not ever at the moment. I think it's only 2% of the current Labour cabinet actually were privately educated. So that compares sort of like, they are mostly working class, including the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, who I think even you would agree is the very definition of working class.
Well, you say that, but everybody has different meanings of working class. I mean, I don't think Angela Rayner comes from, a very, very poor background, struggled all her life. Yes, she may come from a council estate, but, that doesn't make you working class. I mean, she may have gone to university. Does that make you still working class? I believe proper working class are people that have come from a very bad background. They've started with nothing and they've worked their way through life and they've experienced all the life things. But I don't think any of the Labour Party I would class as proper working class. And, if anything, I mean, it'd be good if half of them just had a proper job. They never had a proper job, or where you have to struggle or think for yourself. So I don't think none of the Labour Party are working class. And that's the point Danny Dyer's making. That's why we're in a mess, because you've got people that are in politics, people don't like them, and they're pretending to be working class. And that's just a fine example of it. I mean,
okay, Charlie, what about this one then? So Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage, okay, both incredibly popular with the working class voters, with the red wall, etc. But both of them privately educated, good university education. I mean, they're the definition of posh, but they're very popular with working class voters.
Okay, yeah, because they understand it. All of a sudden they've obviously looked into it properly, and they've not got their nose stuck up in the air, and they understand, the values of working class people and the importance of them. But these other posh people and that, they just look down on as if they're no value. That's why Nigel and Boris are popular, because they're people's people, and they get it. You don't have to be working class to get it, but you've got to have some sort of humanity about you, knowing that, the value of working class people. Many rich people I know come from working class backgrounds. They'll never retire. They keep, like myself, keep forming more companies, because we've had it very poor. We've had it very low in their life, and we don't want to go back to that. So the fact that Nigel and Boris understand working class people, that's a big plus for them.
Okay, so it's not about how much money you've got. You can be you can be a millionaire like yourself and still be working class, like David Beckham, for example, still working class. But is it about education? Is it about how you talk? I mean, if you talk posh, can you still be working class?
Well, obviously, it's many people perceive it in different ways. If you talk like me, then you can't be middle class or upper class. I mean, I think we make too much of the class sort of distinction things. But yeah, people go by education, how you talk, what area you lived in, how much money you got. But that doesn't make you. It doesn't make you upper class. It doesn't make you. If you're working class, you're working class. And
what do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Moving on to other notable news, GB News erupted as Emily Carver clashed fiercely with a left-leaning economist who was desperately trying to defend the dire state of the economy under Labour. What began as a seemingly calm discussion quickly escalated into a televised showdown when Jonathan Portes, speaking on behalf of Labour, blatantly dismissed the financial crises currently gripping the country under Keir Starmer's leadership. He raised his voice, willfully ignoring soaring prices, rising unemployment, and the real hardships faced by ordinary people. Emily Carver wasn't having any of it. She immediately called out his complacency live on air, highlighting his condescending tone when he uttered, "You know that, don't you?" Carver swiftly cut in, sharply retorting, "You're being smug." Caught out, Jonathan Portes reluctantly acknowledged his sarcastic tone, but instead of backing down, he continued rambling, sending the discussion spiraling out of control and turning the segment into a chaotic scene that left viewers stunned. Labour's diversion tactics were thoroughly exposed, and Portes came off looking completely out of his depth. Watch the clip now.
Government need to do, in your opinion, to try and get that going? Because they promised this is the government of growth, growth, growth.
Well, that's right. And to be fair to the government, their inheritance was pretty awful. As I said, 15 years essentially of no growth in real wages.
Has it got worse though, Jonathan? Because it looks like it's got worse on those key factors.
No, that's quite wrong, right? I mean, real wages are growing quite healthily at the moment. Real wage growth is significantly ahead of inflation. That's the point, right? And real wages have grown by about 2% over the last year.
Unemployment's up.
But that's because inactivity has fallen. You know that, right? I mean,
and also because of national insurance hikes, which is why, Jonathan, you're very patronising, Jonathan. When you come on, I appreciate talking to you, and I appreciate you coming on, but sometimes you know that, right? A little bit sarky, don't you think?
Yes, but I mean, we need to get the facts right. So, for example, the latest figures, which came out on Thursday, didn't show that unemployment was up, but they also showed that employment was up. In other words, the average rate at which people had jobs was slightly up, because inactivity, the number of people who are out of the workforce because they're, for example, sick or disabled, had fallen rather slightly more, and we know that's been a big problem since the pandemic. So I think we need to be a bit balanced in this. As I said, the government faces a real set of challenges, and you're quite right. Growth needs to be the priority, and the government needs to deliver on its promises here. But equally, we shouldn't pretend that things are somehow got worse over the last year compared to what's happened over the last 15 years, because that's simply not what the data shows.
Has anything got worse? Has anything got worse in your view since Labour came into power? Because there have been a lot of economic decisions made.
Well, it's certainly true that taxes have gone up, and that was absolutely, unfortunately, necessary to fill the fiscal hole led by the previous government. And unfortunately, taxes will almost certainly have to go up again this October.
But do we risk not getting the rewards from that, though? Because national insurance hikes, it's a tax on jobs, isn't it? So businesses less likely to hire and grow, potential job losses, then you get less in tax receipts. The non-dom changes, again, there's been a partial U-turn on that, but you then end up with millionaires and billionaires potentially moving their assets and etc. and business deals and everything else to different countries. So then you lose tax as a result of that. The VAT on private school fees. We've seen quite a few private schools close. So is that really helping the state of things when you just have more kids in the state sector? I mean, these choices, they're not just as simple as you put taxes up, you get more taxes.
Well, in general, they are as simple. For most things, it is actually that simple, right? The rise in national insurance has certainly led to us having more tax revenue to pay for public services. There's no doubt about that. Equally, the VAT on, right, we don't know yet what the long-term impacts are, but so far, the effects of that seem to be pretty marginal. The effect has certainly been to increase tax revenues. It's a bit harder with non-doms, again, because we don't yet know what's happening. We don't yet know how many people are leaving. But you're right, these are difficult choices. But nonetheless, the government does have to raise tax revenue in order to pay for public services. There is, I think, a general agreement that the austerity has damaged public services quite significantly. People want to see better schools and hospitals, and the money for that has to come from somewhere. And ultimately, it has to come from us. It has to come from you and me, people who pay taxes.
Jonathan, I wonder if this is the worry. I feel like it's going to be middle England, as it were, middle earners, the middle classes who are going to have to cough up more, working class people as well. Because, I don't know, do you believe these statistics, 16,500 millionaires leaving the country this year?
No, I don't. I think those are entirely, they're basically back of, not even back of the envelope. They're, from a slightly ropey survey by a wealth management firm. Now,
do you think any millionaires have left? Do you think we've had a net gain of millionaires or a net loss of millionaires?
Well, I mean, you can equally, there was actually a story in the papers the other day about how some millionaires are indeed moving to the UK to escape Trump. Again, I would personally take that as with a pinch of salt, because I don't tend to believe these anecdotal stories about the odd millionaire leaving or the odd millionaire coming. It's not, we shouldn't take it too seriously. We have to look at the data when we actually get hard data from HMRC on how much tax is coming in and how many of the non-doms
I've got a feeling it might show that quite a lot of these people who pay a tremendous amount of tax have actually decided to go elsewhere for a number of reasons, to be fair.
What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below.
Friends, politics is not just about speeches and promises. It's about speaking the truth and understanding the real lives of ordinary people. A true leader isn't someone who only tells stories, but someone who truly feels the pain of the nation. Ask questions, think critically, and decide for yourself who truly represents you and who's just acting.
Watch the video and decide for yourself. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss our latest updates. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Charlie, thank you for joining us. It was great to have you on.